When I think about my journey as an entrepreneur and business owner, three massive important things. One, vision. I do CEO coaching one-on-one, and one of the first things I got to know is, what's your vision? And I don't mean some platitude and some putting it up on a board, and I'm okay with the values, and I'm okay with the mission. You know what my vision I want to know is, what's it going to look like when you're done? Every one of my 6 companies was built to be sold. And I knew what it was going to look like. Stephen Covey said it better than me, begin with the end in mind. Right? I can't get you there unless you know what there is. So, what is your company going to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What's the revenue line going to look like? How many salespeople are you going to have? How many locations are you going to operate in? How many states are you going to be doing business in? What's the timeline in getting there? What are the pieces that are the obstacles? How are you going to wrestle those down? How are you going to fund it? All of those types of things you need to be wrestling down now. Now, not later, not figuring it out as you go along. That's just stupid. Figure out what it looks like. So here's 2 words I'd like you to write in your notes. Painted picture. That's what I ask my clients. I want you to draw the company and draw it for me so that I have a visual of what that sucker looks like. And by and large, I just went into the company that was the vision rather than the one that existed in real life. And I pulled the rest of the organization to the vision. So 3 things, entrepreneurial insight. Vision is the first. The second thing, key people in key spots. Key people in key spots. Now, key people in key spots, look, I'm a damn good salesperson. And I've got a big ego, and I earned it, and I don't back off from it. But I've got a big weakness, and it's right there. It's called time. You see, there's only so many hours that I can be on the phone. There's only so many calls I can make. There's only so many calls I can take. There's only so many orders I can write. But if I were to take and hire 5 people and teach them the systems and processes that I know work as a salesperson, those 5 people will outperform me. And instead of 5, what would your organization look like if it was 10 people? And instead of 10, what would it be if it were 20 salespeople? And the majority of the people in this room, you've got 1, or you're doing it. Those types of things. And I'm trying to figure out, how are you going to scale, guys? How are you going to scale? In most businesses, if you want to grow your sales force in quantity and quality. And so one of the keys is to have somebody that grows that sales force. I call that person a sales manager. You can call them whatever you want. But if I were to come into your company and be the guys in charge of making that revenue line jump, the first thing I would start doing is recruiting and hiring salespeople. And then giving them the process to follow. So key people in key spots. In my mind, for a fast-growing company, the most important position in your company is whoever's building that sales force. Now, the third piece on entrepreneurial insight is culture. Culture. And culture for me is very simply stated. Creating an environment in your business where the people who work there enjoy coming to work as opposed to have to go to work. You want to create an environment where people want to go to work, not have to go to work. And so culture, Peter Drucker said it better than I could ever say it. Let me give it his. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. And I hear companies, business owners all the time talking about our people are our most important asset, blah, 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 blah. Well, how much time of yours is spent on the operations side of the house? I'm going to ask you to divide up 100%. How much of your time is spent on the operations side? How much percent of your time is spent on the sales side? How much percent of your time is spent on the financial side? How much percent of your time is spent on the culture side? And I think about Tony Hsieh building Zappos as a startup in Las Vegas, and in 10 years sells it to Jeff Bezos at Amazon for over $1 billion. Okay? But what Tony did is he said, I'm going to build a culture where people absolutely love coming to work. And by the way, the book that he wrote, delivering happiness tells you exactly how he went about doing it. And so, look, spend time on the culture. What we want is to create a magnet force where people absolutely want to go to work there. I'm listening to Jeff back in the back of the room yesterday, and I'm going, man, oh man, I would have loved working at his company. That company just was absolutely dynamic. He was describing a culture. He was up here pounding away on the culture. I need you to understand how powerful the culture is. That's the type of things that Paul and Steve and Liz got to learn from me, the culture. Why doesn't it get the attention that it deserves? Here is a powerful sentence as to why. People and companies tend to underperform to their capabilities because we rush to the urgent at the expense of the important. We rush to the urgent at the expense of the important, and so many of us in this room are guilty of that. That's entrepreneurial insight.